I like to talk about some common sexual props, give a little bit of history and what's going on with our bodies when we use certain things like vibrators or dildos. So we'll start with vibrators, and when I'm talking about vibrators, talking about vaginal stimulation, clitoral stimulation with a vibrator. This is what they're most commonly known for when it comes to sexual use. When we think about the concept of vibration, a vibrator, all energy is vibration, and it's just concentrating a vibration, a frequency, how frequent, a currency in the body. I'm also a sound therapist, and it becomes very evident when I'm doing sound therapy the vibratory effect that it has on the body. The vibration can be changed by anything from music, so it's subtle vibration, to more gross vibration. When electricity was discovered, there were some theories developed that electricity could heal the body. I'm not sure it was used in the most appropriate ways, but we began to see things like electroshock therapy, and there were also small devices that were placed in pharmacies where you could go to like a Walgreens or something if you were having a headache, and you could put your fingers and get an electrical current sent through your body. And this was to cure any body pains. It was popular for PMS, so a lot of women would come in to use it before their menstrual cycle. Doctors began using vibrators in their office. It would be like kind of attached to the wall, or it was a larger machine, and they would use it on, different parts of the body. This is the myth, that they would treat women with hysteria or certain pains, sexual dysfunction with orgasm, and that they were tired of manually giving orgasm, so they created the vibrator. I don't think there are any records indicating that this type of practice actually happened. I suppose it could have. So that's where you may see some porn that shows doctors or therapists giving massage with a hatachi or something, bringing a woman to orgasm. This is all just a role play, and don't let anybody pull you into their role play, even if it's a socially acceptable role play or socially expected role play. If you're not having fun, don't do it. But then doctors decided that this electricity and vibration healing the body was not working out, and so they remarketed the vibrator as a home device, a personal device, or a home appliance. There was a guy who invented a belt or something that went around the waist that would give electrical shock and vibration, and he tried to sell it as a sexual stimulant, but that was illegal, so they started selling it as a home appliance. They would have advertisements of women using home vibrators, but usually just using on their neck and face. I guess it just became common that women started using that for their own use, so it started to be sold as a personal device, kind of shaped more like the long dildo-looking vibrators that we might see today. Today there are so many different types of vibrators. I find a lot of them not really worth the money. I've tried a lot of different things in the cam work that I've done. So if you have any questions on certain things, I'd be happy to give my experience. Some people might make fun of the vibrators that plug into the wall, but those are actually a lot more powerful than anything that's battery operated. So you have to be careful with those, and we'll talk about tension that happens in the body from overuse. Most modern day vibrators are pretty low voltage. You can even buy just a personal massager. Because vibrators are giving us an electrical charge of sorts, we need to be careful of voltage. Using a vibrator too much can cause the body to disconnect, to become too tense, especially when used too often on the clitoris. This can cause a lot of disconnection from the body and being able to sense subtle sensations and decrease the sensitivity. I think the way we're nurtured has a lot to do also with how we choose to pleasure ourselves, how harsh or how high voltage we may need. There was a guy on cams who was kind of so detached from his body that he would electrocute his balls. He had this little rig up, and he'd snap these little things on and electrocute himself. I think that probably has a lot to do with how we're learned to nurture ourselves, or how we were nurtured as children, whether somebody had a heavy hand or a soft touch. So when we grow up around that armor of tension, it may take more force or intensity to be able to feel sensation, and you really want to be able to relax beyond and below that armor to be able to sense subtleties. So I'd say if you're going to use a vibrator, just be cautious of how it's affecting your body, the energetics and the charge that it's sending to your body. If you're using it for a clitoral orgasm, the inside of the vagina will want to squeeze onto something when you orgasm. So if you're constantly using it as for clitoral orgasm, the body will become tense within. You may experience pain within the pelvis, and I'll get to how you can relieve that sort of thing at the end of the video. If you're going to use a vibrator, I encourage you to try using it on all parts of the body to relax and open up for that energy to move from the vagina throughout the whole body. Vibration can be great for learning how to move energy through the body, but if we're not concentrating on that and it's only going into one area, then it can be worn out and kind of dysfunctional over time. When we're not learning to spread it through the body and it becomes worn out, then we need to increase the voltage, and it just goes on this spiraling effect of detachment from the body and sensitivity. Same concept applies to any males who also like to use vibration. Vibrating massagers feel really good on the face. If you've never tried, it's something you might want to. Dildos. Dildos for me are more of a medical device than something erotic or arousing. I think a lot of men see it as something that evokes a certain attitude or expectation. Some women have sensitive skin. I have very sensitive skin, so having that type of material rubbing on my body, whether or not it's lubricated, it can be uncomfortable if it's too repetitive or too often. When I worked as a cam model, I had to use prosthetics a lot, and I had different types. I've tried a lot of different kinds. Some had vibrators. I have a pretty regular sex life, but when I'm getting to those points where I feel my insides kind of closing up, I think I might need to do my physical therapy. I'm not against anybody using them for pleasure or being aroused by these things. I think they can definitely be helpful, and when I was talking about those clitoral orgasms where the body doesn't have anything to clench onto, it really helps give an aid to be able to get a deeper orgasm, a more full body orgasm. For me, not the same, but it's something. Overuse can lead to irritation and disconnection from numbness. And for me, dildos are more from therapeutic use. It's not that they can't be pleasurable, but never when I see a dildo does it turn me on. It makes me think in my mind and check inside. Am I clenching? Do I need assistance? Can I get it in a different way? But dildos are very helpful, and I think you should play, have fun and see where your curiosity leads you, what your body's trying to tell you, and what it wants you to pay attention to. So some people might use it for its tension relieving abilities, and that brings me to the wand. So the tension I was talking about building up within the pelvis, within the muscles and the fascia of our pelvic floor and pelvic bowl and lining. Did a pelvic floor training a couple years ago, and for homework we had to go home and manually put our fingers inside, feel around our muscles along the opening of our vagina, kind of get to know it a little bit more and notice any tension within. When I got home to do my manual inspection, I was really amazed at how tight and stiff it was in there, the muscles along the bone, and I could only call it petrified, literally and figuratively. Came to my mind was just how much connection I was missing from holding all of this tension. We accumulate tension a lot from our belief system and this subconscious holding pattern we create. This holding pattern creates this tension pattern, which can create a chronic tension. Chronic tension will cause a decrease in the energetic flow and a tightness in the muscles, build up in the muscle fiber, and this can cause pain, discomfort, fibroids, menstrual issues, a lot of problems within the pelvic area from tension within the muscles and the fascia. You can go to a specialized doctor or a professional therapist to get an evaluation or a therapeutic pelvic massage to release the tension, or you can try taking it into your own hands. Either way, I suggest you at least investigate the area and see what you're feeling. How is your body feeling? How are these areas feeling? What is their emotional state? If you'd like to investigate these muscles of the pelvic bowl, you can lie on your side and use your thumb entering from behind the legs and just make your way through and feel along the bone lining of the pelvic bowl. You can give yourself a massage there. I find it a little bit difficult, and I got a pelvic wand. It's a therapeutic wand to massage the inner pelvic lining. It's like therapy for me. It's not a sexual activity for me, but you can use different ends. This one's more tapered like a finger. It's got kind of the edges so that you can get deeper into the pelvic bowl and release tension from these areas. And it really relieves a lot of tension in my lower back and even lifts up my chest, lets my shoulders relax. So it's amazing how much tension we hold in the sacral area, and that's right around that sacrum, that powerhouse of nerves coming from our spine and gathering at our sacral area. So this type of non-sexual therapeutic massage is great to increase the energetics in the body, the flow of sensation throughout the entire system. Just gives overall stronger integration to help balance the body. So if you're interested in this as a pelvic wand or therapeutic wand, there are plenty of videos on YouTube to help you learn how to use it. I think that our breath is also important, learning how to breathe into our pelvic bowl. I think a lot of us are taught to breathe backwards, so breathing into our pelvic bowl helps to relax the area and work through the tension in those muscles. If we're not breathing correctly, we may be storing more tension. So you can go check out my video on the pelvic floor. It talks about pelvic floor breathing and how to relax more in that area. Sensual and sexual exploration is about finding what is pleasurable to us, maybe establishing our boundaries, exploring and discovering new things we didn't know, and putting away the myths of things that we were told and don't fit for us. I think it's important to approach all of this with a realistic mindset, because a lot of fantasy doesn't play out the same in reality. It's important to have a sense of humor and openness about things, not take it too seriously. I think in media, sex is portrayed a lot about being sultry and serious, and I think you should be more playful. I think a playful person has a much better sexual experience than somebody who's too goal-oriented or trying to play this cool role and look like they know what they're doing. So have a little bit of sense of humor with yourself. Hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to leave a comment, send me a message. Thanks for watching.